Welcome back. We got a great guest coming up next, Dave. Who do we have?
Well, in terms of welcoming back, we're thrilled to welcome back our friend Kathy Fulton. She heads up ALAN, ALAN, the American Logistics Aid Network. She's also a founding member of FEMA's Supply Chain Analysis Network, that's SCAN, and a founding member of the Private Sector Emergency Management Association. Of course, you know that as the PSEMA. And Kathy's been a member of the National Academies of Sciences. And if I keep talking, I'm just going to talk, and she'll never get a chance to get in here because there's a lot to say about Kathy, but we want to hear from her. Good morning and welcome back. It's good to talk to you.
Hey, good morning. That is a lot of acronyms in my bio.
We love acronyms.
Yeah, you just heard me taking a sip of alphabet soup right there, so it's a good way to start the morning.
Well, timing.
How are y'all today?
Oh, we are great. We are great. I'm going to ask you about your Labor Day weekend plans here, too.
Oh,
We've been kind of doing that. Kent Grisham, who heads up the Nebraska Trucking Association, they're going to have their state fair. So he's looking forward to a corn dog. What's cooking for you next weekend?
Whatever my husband decides to cook, whatever he puts on the grill.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know, around our house, if it's grilled, it's good.
That's right. That's right. We don't have any big plans. It just this time of year, I never make actual plans because I never know what the weather's going to do, what it's going to throw at me.
I have a love-hate relationship with Labor Day because when I was a kid, I go back to where you got off on Memorial Day, you went back to school the day after Labor Day. So Labor Day was like the Ed Sullivan show when I was a kid. When Ed Sullivan was over, had to go to bed. When Labor Day was over, you had to go to school.
Yeah, it's like the panic attack that most kids who were Generation Xers would have when they'd hear the ticking clock of 60 minutes. They'd be like, oh, no. I've got to go back to school on Mondays. The dread would actually rise at that point. The other thing about Labor Day, though, it does come at the heart of hurricane season. It really is when things really kick in. And I know you know this, that we're broadcasting from city of New Orleans right now. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of a little event that happened here that changed the way the city operates. So there's a lot of love-hate relationships with Labor Day. I think everybody from the city of New Orleans that particular Labor Day took the day off because they didn't have a choice. So, I mean, and we're talking about this today. Not Katrina, but we're talking about hurricane responses, correct?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're in the peak of hurricane season now. As you well know, there's a big red X on the map called Hurricane Aaron. It's bouncing between Category 4 and 5, so it's a big storm. Not really going to hit land directly, but it will affect the islands and the East Coast. But what's going on at FEMA and how much other weather disasters have cost us so far are downright scary, as you know, Kathy. Can you give us a look maybe at the bigger picture?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Katrina, and I was in New Orleans earlier this year. Sorry I didn't come see you gig anywhere, Dave.
Don't do that again.
That is my reminder that even when the absolute worst, terrible things happen, good can come out of it. And that's always my big picture. That's who I am as a human being, is like, hey, this really crappy thing just happened to our nation. Who are the people who are helping? And that's always the truck drivers and the warehouse people and, the logistics people who are making stuff happen and getting people back on their feet.
Well,
so that's my big picture.
And what happened in Texas just recently, too.
Oh, my gosh.
And it's kind of buried in it's not going to get the attention that something like Katrina had. And I think when things are named, you give something a name, you give it power. There's that. But there are so many things that have come and gone that are huge. And I don't mean big, I mean huge, with many lives lost, towns and ways of life destroyed. Look at North Carolina last year. We could go on and on and on, is what I'm saying, as you are painfully aware of.
Yeah, I mean, I joked about not making plans over Labor Day weekend just
Mm-hmm.
because of watching for hurricanes. But it really, this year has been a reminder that it doesn't matter what time of year it is, whether we had the flooding in Texas, which is devastating, the fires in California earlier this year, back in January. We're on high alert all of the time now. Our team is just getting up and checking the news. Like, what are we going to be working on today, folks?
Yeah.
Which is, it's a terrible way to approach life. But like I said, we know that there's good that comes out of it. People get help that, because of organizations like Allen and because of the businesses that are backing us.
Let me jump right to it, by the way. You guys take a long, hard look at FEMA. There is a lot of uncertainty around FEMA this particular coming year because of the DOGE. Can you kind of talk about what you're going to be looking for in regards to FEMA responses to anything that makes its way either directly or indirectly onto the shores of North America, particularly the United States?
Yeah, I think that the FEMA cut has been very publicized, right? We all know, hey, we're gonna get rid of FEMA. There's all these conversations about it. I'll start by saying the people who I know who work at FEMA are dedicated, incredible public servants, and they want to do the right thing. They want to help people. Let's start with that. I don't think anybody can discount that the individuals who are there want to do the right things. They are hampered now. Forever, FEMA has had to work with what the states request of them. Now, what they have in order to provide to those states, whatever the states request, that's going to look a little different this year, right? And so whether it's funding to help repair roads and bridges, or even just individual assistance to community members to help them fill that gap until they can get other forms of assistance, that's going to look different this year. And so it is going to be on the states and the cities to help provide that.
Yes, and we've already seen, as you point out, in the first half of this year, we've already seen $15 billion worth of weather disasters so far. Yikes, and then some. So businesses, communities, it matters. What are folks telling you in the business world right now in terms of how they're going to face this? Because houses get destroyed, but so do shopping centers,
Yeah, so there's so much happening in the business world right now, where everybody is just trying to survive, especially in the trucking world. We know people are waiting for something to happen so that they can have work to do, right? But we are hearing people who are trying to make sure that their employees are better prepared, right? So that their employees are getting what they need, recognizing that some of the stuff that has been done to better help prepare has been. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of feedback. Sorry, hang on just a second.
Oh.
Yeah.
I just want to let me add something while we work out that particular issue. The other thing is too, Dave, you said houses get destroyed, but businesses get destroyed too. That's a business's problem as well, because the houses that get destroyed are the houses of the employees. And that is something it's a double whammy that's kind of at play there too. The other thing I wanted to ask you about, Kathy, and I know you got to be a little bit careful here, is there going to be a close eye on this from the federal government, because they've got a perfect scapegoat. If something goes really wrong and FEMA's unable to respond, they got a perfect scapegoat with the founder of Tesla, who is no longer involved in the federal government. Do you see any possibility of suddenly cuts being restored if things go really, really wrong?
And I'm having some feedback, hearing some crosstalk here, so I'm having a tough time hearing you. But I think you're asking about, do I think things are going to get restored suddenly? I think people are going to do what's right to help disaster survivors. That's my hope anyway, is that whether government support or businesses jumping in to provide that support, my hope is that we're going to do what's right to take care of people, regardless of what that looks like. And you may need to ask your question again.
You got it right. You got it
okay,
right.
Great. Good.
Well, logistics is what, the L in Allen stands for. And, you can, and going back to Katrina, I remember the horror stories of, truckloads of ice, truckloads of water. They're stuck in Arkansas and Missouri, Kentucky, trying to get down here to New Orleans, and they don't know what to do because they don't know where to go, and nobody's telling them this. And a lot of waste was happening in terms of man hours, and in terms of the commodities themselves. I forgot what the question was. I shouldn't have gone down there. I know what it is. Okay, so I have a business. I don't know about logistics. I mean, I know my deliveries come in the back door. I sign for them, put them on the shelf, and I sell them. So there's going to have to be is there going to have to be like a big learning curve for a lot of folks who never had to deal at that level of relief in terms of putting stuff together, because that's what you guys do. And if you didn't put it together, nobody gets anything.
Yeah, I mean, so the great thing about Allen is that we're helping businesses understand that all the time, right? We're here to provide that support. Right. I think I've lost you all.
No, you got us.
We haven't.
You got us. Have we lost her?
We're here, Kathy.
Kathy, can you hear us? We're going to actually have to hang up on Kathy, right? We're going to have to say goodbye to Kathy. You're going to call her back and see what's going on over there. Guys, Nemo Nation continues here. In just a few moments, our good friend Michael Freeze is going to be joining us. Dre will give us a high sign if we get her back. I can editorialize in a way that she doesn't want to, and she shouldn't. I think that people are going to take a really close look. The first big one that hits, Dave, the first big one that hits, don't be surprised that people are screaming from the high heavens, because the one thing that a lot of the president's allies will actually respond to above and beyond him is when their core constituents turn on them. Mm-hmm. There is nothing clearer. Like I said, the president's power that he has over these legislators extends only to the people that still support him. If they feel like they have been abandoned to any degree, that could go very, very badly. And I say that, by the way, not as a way of making any sort of editorial comment on the president's methods or methodology, but just the reality of, if a storm hits, remember, George Bush's popularity rating before Hurricane Katrina was pretty steady at 50 to 55. He never recovered. Mm-hmm. He never recovered from that moment. Go ahead.
I just want to give Kathy's and Allen Aid's website. It's ALAN, Allen Aid, AID, AlanAid.org.